the ones who need to enact this funding.
Yes. So what happens is that in the disaster recovery funding, the DRFA, there is category A and B, which is for individuals, and the state government have provided that, as you said earlier, for sole traders and for employees. Then there's B, which is state governments for restoration. Then there's category C. I know it's very complicated, but, bear with me. And that's for severely affected communities, regions, sectors, and it's about clean-up and recovery grants, including for small businesses, primary producers. But we believe, as we've been discussing, that category D is for exceptional circumstances, assistance beyond A, B and C. And that's generally considered once the impact of disaster has been assessed, which is what has taken place now, and the recovery gaps are identified, which is for the Halls Gap fires. Let me try and paint you what's actually happened. We've had fires in the Grampians National Park. Halls Gap was closed for 18 days. From the 17th of December, and then it's opened again, but there are still fires around, and now, in fact, we've still got ongoing fires, and part of the Grampians is closed. So those businesses don't have any visitors, surprise, surprise, and they're desperately wanting visitors, but they're not coming. So it means that all of that loss of business, it could be that all those accommodation houses, those cafes, the wine bar, the pub, end up closing because they just cannot bear the cost on an ongoing basis. So it is time to step up, but it's the state government that needs to ask the federal government to assist them, because it's a shared funding. That's for C and D.
Dr. Anne Webster, can I put this to you too? Because when we talk about this, we often will get people saying to us, well, look, businesses that set up in areas which are high fire danger or high flood danger, they need to be aware of those risks and mitigate those risks. Why would the taxpayer be stumping up to fund them? Are you sympathetic to that sense?
No, I'm not, because the fact is that when people go visit the Grampians, they want to be able to stay there. They want to be able to stay in accommodation places. They want to be able to eat there. And perhaps those people have that view because they don't go and visit some of our natural wonders like the Grampians. But these businesses, I think the other side of this issue is that insurance companies are not insuring them. Insurance companies are missing in action and have walked away. Now, the fact of the matter is Halls Gap has never burnt. Halls Gap has never actually caught fire. And so for insurance companies not to be present so that businesses can get business interruption insurance, which would assist them. They have all talked to me about it. I took the Insurance Council of Australia down to Halls Gap to meet with businesses so businesses could tell them what's really happening on the ground, as opposed to somebody doing a desktop modelling on their computer and deciding, no, it's too much risk for our insurance company. The insurance companies need to get down there and understand, because those businesses can't get business interruption insurance as well. So if the state government and federal government don't step up and support in this situation, we won't have businesses there. And I absolutely don't want to see that happen.
I do have a statement from Senator Jenny McAllister's office. She's the Minister for Emergency Management federally, and she has said joint funding for small business support can be provided following a request from the Victorian Government, which is something that you've just outlined.
Yes.
And then she did confirm more support today for fire-affected shires. Today, the Commonwealth and Victorian Government have announced co-funding for residents in Hindmarsh Shire, including financial support for those community members who've had to evacuate their home due to bushfire, and council support for Hindmarsh and Horsham for clean-up arrangements through the disaster recovery funding arrangements. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything there about
Northern Grampians.
Northern Grampians Shire, which is what we're talking about right now, doesn't appear to be. Emergency relief payments are available for eligible community members whose homes are in an evacuation. So I guess from what my read of this, Anne Webster, is that they're just waiting for the state government to actually come to them with a plan on the table.
Oh, sorry, I just lost you for a moment. What was your question?
I was just saying it appears that they are waiting for the state government to come to them with a plan on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Jenny's been fantastic. Give her all kudos. She's been wonderful to work with. Certainly takes my calls whenever I call. I'm sorry Simon feels that politicians have walked away, because we haven't. And the problem is this is all sitting, if you like, at a bottleneck in the state government, because their cabinet has not considered the ERV recommendations. So, I just urge them, please think about these communities. They have really done it tough. I'm trying to put pressure on it at a federal level for insurance companies, because as far as I'm concerned, insurance companies, it's a failed market, and there needs to be a solution for these communities.
Dr. Webster, thanks for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Dr. Anne Webster is the member for Mallee, which takes in Halls Gap and the Grampians, currently fire affected. We're going to get an update for you too, just on that fire, the emergency warning fire that's currently on the western side of the Grampians at the moment, flared up. But look, lots of comments from you too about this question of government support for businesses. Simon is in Morwell. G'day, Simon.
G'day, Prue. Look, you won't be surprised to hear I've got a pretty contrarian view to this.
Indeed. What is it?
Well, the reality is that every town in Victoria who's lost its farming or its industry has turned to tourism. And the fact of the matter is this is a really non-productive industry. It actually has no output except a bit of fun, which is great. But they rely on people turning up, as the people in Halls Gap are discovering, at the very time when, funnily enough, there are fires. The fires aren't going to stop happening. In fact, they're probably going to get worse. And these people rely on this really narrow window of opportunity during the holidays for people to turn up. And if they don't turn up, they've pretty much got nothing for the rest of the year.
So you're saying that these areas need to diversify?
Absolutely. They need to find actually productive industries that actually make something, that actually have a product.
Can you imagine, though, Simon, having a manufacturing company in the middle of Halls Gap? Because, I mean, it's
probably not,
the national park, right?
No, but, well, exactly, and this is the other side of the coin, that a lot of these industries, these so-called industries, these tourisms, require the national park. But the national park needs to be left alone to be a national park. It's not there for fun. It's the last gasp of a lot of ecosystems. And our response tends to be, look, this is really pretty, let's all go and trash it. You look at what's happening down on Arthur's Seat at the moment, where some industrial combine wants to go in and do this uber development and put a luge through it and an 8-story thing. This inevitably happens if you rely on tourism. There's always the call for another hotel, more development, a new toilet block, a visitor centre, a bigger road, and suddenly the national park is just a park.
All right, Simon, thank you very much. I think we get what you're saying. What do you make of it? 1300 303 468. You can text 0467 842 722. A couple more texts in. Just in terms of business support, a local business in Dunkeld still hasn't been reimbursed for hundreds of firefighters' meals they provided over Christmas. They put themselves out to find food in this holiday time to cook these meals. Thank you for your text. We might follow up on that. And another one says, interesting chat, re the Grampians and Halls Gap. I agree, re-insurance. However, I'd like more money to go to underfunded Parks Victoria rather than businesses. That is my view. And a couple of you saying that basic business tactics would be to determine your weaknesses and make mitigation strategies, saying if a business sets up in a fire path without mitigation, then it is on them. 0467 842 722 if you have a view on this. Look, it is controversial and not everyone is going to agree. I think what we do agree with is the fact that at the moment The Grampians is a pretty inhospitable, parts of the Grampians, I should say, pretty inhospitable place to be. Let's get the update from the Deputy Incident Controller in Horsham about exactly what is happening with those fires burning in the Grampians at the moment. John Rofe is with us. G'day, John.
Good afternoon, Prue.